Good morning to those of you who are watching us by way of the internet. My name is Stephen York, and I'm the pastor of the Stonington United Methodist Church in Stonington, Maine. This morning I'm preaching on the subject Genesis chapter 12 and the story of Abraham in his departure from home. And the sermon is the art of letting go. The art of letting go. Let's look at the text for a moment in Genesis. Abraham is 75 years old. Now you'll notice in the text that his name has been shortened in the beginning to Abram, and that Sarah's name is Sarai. Now Hebrew names in the Bible mean something. It was not until the birth announcement when Abraham was 90 when they hears that they're going to have their first child, and Sarah gets the announcement, and the Bible says she laughed at God in the announcement. Great story. At that point, their names were changed to Abraham, and it means father of many children, and Sarah means mother of many children. But before that happened, they were Abram and Sarai, but I will probably mix that up, but you know who I'm talking about this morning. 75 years of age, and Abraham feels a call to uproot everything, to leave that which is familiar to him and to go to a place where he has never been and doesn't really know what the final destination is. Now, I want to just note the age of 75 for you, because many of the people in the Old Testament stories, in the Hebrew Scriptures, have life-changing experiences in their 70s and 80s and have a sense that there is something yet that they are supposed to do. At a time when developmentally we think, when we get to 75 or 80 or 90, that, well, it's someone else's turn to do all this stuff. I put in my time. In the Bible, these stories challenge us, like Abraham, that life has just begun, and that there is purpose and meaning to life in the later years. Some people get very concerned about where are young people going to be in the life of the church. I have every confidence that young people will find meaning in the church. We just need to know how to engage them. But I refuse to write off that at 75 we're all washed up. There's nothing left. There's nowhere else to go. Just going to chase a golf ball. Now I'm going to get someone after me after the sermon. I'm not going to preach against golf. I am saying that I'm preaching against giving up on life when there's still a lot more that you can do to make a difference. That call to Abram at the age of 75 was to leave everything that was familiar. Think about it. Think about what the implications would mean for your life if you had a sense of call that you were supposed to do something extraordinary that would take you out of all that was familiar. Now, for all the openness and broad-mindedness that I have to tell you that there are certain things that I don't want to give up. When I go to the cafe, I want to make sure that the booth I usually sit in is available. Sometimes I call downstairs and say, is my seat available? They love me. What can I say? I want the familiar. I want things to be settled. But sometimes those things which are settled can lead to the status quo and mediocrity and just kind of going with the flow. My grandfather used to preach that any dead fish could go downstream, but it takes a live one to go up. And Abraham felt the call to do something significant and to leave that which is familiar. What if you were asked to leave everything that you were familiar with and take on some new challenge? Well, I don't know about you. I think it's a good idea on paper, but I must confess that I'd be a little distraught. I have a great affection for this place. And I certainly, would want to just stay here the rest of my life because I love it. But none of us know what the future is. And sometimes there is that impetus, that call to something creative, something greater. Just think about the wisdom that you bring to life's experiences. Zachary was born when I was older. I always said that by the time I was a grandfather, I was ready for the first time to be a father. I just think I was smarter and had a little more wisdom and a little more life experience. And I think he probably turned out the best of the lot because he had me at an older age, or I had him at an older age, or we had each other. Abram, you're going to leave everything. And you're going to go to a place that I'm going to guide you. What do you feel called to do? What is that stirring in your life? Some editorial voice in your head says, yeah, but you're too old, or, oh, nobody's going to listen to you. You're just not going to count. The emphasis is on age and beauty and slickness and how handsome we are and how well presented we are. And, we've got wrinkles. I was looking in the mirror the other day, and I have these wrinkles in the middle of my forehead. And it's because I have this thing when I'm thinking that I just kind of do that to myself. And I'm looking and they're not going away. I'm not going to buy any of that stuff, put it on there. And I'm glad. I'm happy with what I've got. I'm trying to improve on myself a little, but that's another subject. But, this being in love with youth and beauty and writing off people who don't fit the Hollywood size 0 model has got to go. And we've got to release ourselves to a severe listening and taking ourselves seriously.